Welcome back to the episode of the Get It Right Saturday Night Podcast. We're back. Took a week off, spring break, but now, guys, we're finally here bringing you guys a boatload of news that has come out in the last week. And today we got a nice one for you coming, talking to you about the NFL free agency. But of course, we're joined here by my two fellow co-hosts, always coming in clutch, Colin Fursley
Hey, what's up?
and Oscar Morale.
Hey guys, how you doing? Good to see you guys
So
again.
let's just get right into it, guys.
Yep, we've been gone for a week, maybe 2 weeks, I don't remember exactly, but within those 2 weeks, I think the most amount of NFL news has happened all year, even during the regular season. So it's kind of unfortunate that we had to miss those weeks, but we'll cover a little bit now. I know you guys probably know all about it by now. It's been one of the craziest off seasons in NFL history, I would say. But we'll just go over the key things, some storylines that we want to talk about. So I'm gonna pull up here the list of free agents that have been signed, and then we'll just talk about certain things. So I'll start off with this, Oscar Mark. Which free agent do you think was the best signing? Who do you think is going to be the most impactful for their new team? And I could scroll to whoever you think you want to talk
You
about.
know, I uh, I think a really good signing was the Ravens signing Derrick Henry. They've
Yeah,
they've had issues with their run game um for 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 seasons now, and they haven't had a solid running back that hasn't either torn his Achilles, torn his ACL, or messed up something. So having a running back now that hopefully Derrick Henry will back from his come back to his pre-injured form. I think it's going to be an absolute mammoth of a team that they're going to have there. The run game's going to be insane. They have a great offensive line, and I think it's a really good signing. I really like this move.
yeah, I agree. I
And
think that's huge.
speaking of the Ravens, I think they had a really big blow when it comes to defense because they lost Patrick Queen to the Steelers. At the time I was talking with a buddy of mine. The Dolphins had made some moves, freed up some cap space. We thought maybe Patrick Queen would come to the Dolphins. That did not end up happening. He went to the Steelers, and the Steelers are building quite a good team, man.
Yeah.
They got a good defensive side of the ball. I mean, their defense last year was the reason they had a winning record. This year is going to be even better. Hopefully, they can figure out whatever's going on offense there. They got a bit of a weird situation now with Justin Fields and a Russell Wilson. But I would like to say that if it weren't for this signing, I would have picked Josh Jacobs to the Green Bay Packers because, man, what a move. Green Bay Packers up and coming, emerging team, and especially after I would say, year and a half of down year that they had. Like, it was barely anything, but towards the end of last year's season, we saw they had a resurgence, and it's going to be scary hours for the NFC North.
Oh yeah, I can agree with that. But also, with them signing Josh Jacobs, they lost Aaron Jones, who went to a division rival, the Vikings. The Vikings have had an interesting offseason. I feel like we're going to continue to see more news from the Vikings, and I feel like they may be in a weird position now. They of course need a quarterback, and they have Justin Jefferson. I'm not sure how he'd be happy, but Aaron Jones, he's always been
We
a
might
beast.
see a trade, a midseason trade.
We
Might see
might,
a midseason trade.
we might, but hey, I mean, Aaron Jones when he's not injured, he's a dog, man. I mean, he
Absolutely.
blows past everyone. I mean, I don't know how many games he's had where he's at 100 yards uh total, like 80 rushing, 40 receiving. I mean, he always goes over the 100-yard mark. And I think it's a great signing for the Vikings losing Alexander Madison, who didn't do great last year. People had high hopes and just didn't he didn't do as good as he should have. And so I think it's imperative that they get their running game back in there. So great signing by them as well.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on two things you guys are talking about. First off, you mentioned Patrick Queen to the Steelers, Aaron Jones to the Vikings. So on that theme, a lot of players switch teams within the same division. So them
Oh
two.
yeah.
Then you also have Jordan Poyer in the AFC East going from the Bills to the Dolphins, and then you And
Great
then you also
acquisition.
have, yeah, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of that. And then also you have Saquon Barkley, another big signing going from the Giants to the Eagles in the
To the
NFC East.
Eagles. That was a whole
Yeah,
debacle on social media for a while.
yeah. So that was a very crazy
There's
signing
there was
for
definitely
the
some drama around
Eagles.
that signing, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Some
With
yeah,
yeah,
some
some entitled
Giants
Giants
players.
fans.
Yeah,
yeah. And then also you guys talking about on the Steelers side, I think the Steelers really have a bright future ahead of them because it wasn't a free agent signing, but they got Justin Fields in a trade for only a 6th round pick from the Chicago Bears. So I think I think Justin Fields can develop a lot behind Russell Wilson. They have
I
very
agree.
similar attributes in terms of their mobility. So I think once Russell Wilson moves on from the Steelers, retires, whatever happens, I think Justin Fields, because I'm a guy that likes Justin Fields. I think he
I
was good.
agree.
I
I
don't think the Bears should have traded him.
I don't think so
Uh, I
either.
I think
I
he has
think the
a
Bears,
lot of potential, but he needs to be prospected the right
yeah,
way. He needs to be molded, and somebody needs to
yeah,
show him how he can use his talents to the best
absolutely.
of his abilities.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think he'd be a really good fit with the Steelers in the future, and I think now with this upgrade with Patrick Queen, I don't know who their receivers are. They lost Deontay Johnson to the Panthers, so that's a bit of a question mark there. But other than that, I really like what the Steelers are doing. On the Bears side, I think that they had a lot of good things going for them. They had DeAndre Swift, Keenan Allen, which was
Hey,
absolutely huge for
the
them.
Bears
That was
have
a
made a
And
lot
steal.
then
of
They
defensive
gave up a
signings as well.
bag of potato chips for Keenan Allen here, guys.
yeah, which I think is ridiculous because Keenan Allen is
Yeah,
still like probably a top five
he
receiver in
had
this
Great.
league, honestly.
He was a
he had
top.
his best season
It's
last year.
yeah,
Yeah,
stats wise, he was top five receiver last year.
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. So I really like what the Bears were doing, and I thought, I mean, you got it. You believe in Justin Fields. I do. I think he can. I don't think he's great right now, but I think he can definitely develop into a really, really good quarterback. And you
yeah,
have the number one overall pick. And who's in this draft? Marvin Harrison Jr., Rome Odunze. You can trade that number one overall pick again, get like the third overall pick and something else to keep developing your draft picks, and then you're gonna draft Marvin Harrison Jr., who I think you should have drafted anyway, but at
yeah,
the 3 or 4 spot, whatever it may be, and you have the best receiver in the draft plus more draft picks and Justin Fields. Now they lost Justin Fields, they lost a chance at getting Marvin Harrison Jr., and now they're only walk away with Caleb Williams who I'm a little unsure about him. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how
I'm
you
not
guys feel
sold
about
about
Caleb.
him. I'm not too sold about him.
Yeah, me neither.
I
So
He
I don't know.
didn't
That
have
could
a
be
great
interesting.
season last year.
Yep. Now, obviously, having DeAndre Swift and Keenan Allen is gonna help a lot, considering Justin Fields worked with
Oh
literally nothing.
yeah, I agree.
But I don't know. I feel like having an established quarterback in the NFL like Justin Fields. Not saying he's established yet, but he was getting there. You just throw that away to get a potential maybe might be good in the NFL, but who nobody knows now. I don't
You
know.
know,
It's a
you
little
know,
risky.
And
Justin
while
Fields
we can
last year.
acknowledge that the second half of the season was a bit of a throwaway for them, he did play very good in that second half of the season.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Justin Fields. Who were his starting wide receivers last year? You had Darnell Mooney, and who else?
DJ Moore
DJ
played
Moore. DJ
great
Moore is
last
Okay,
year
solid.
for them.
DJ Moore was solid, but then after that, you have Darnell Mooney. The running back was who? Khalil Herbert?
I believe so,
Um,
yeah.
Yeah, that's not a great team. I think they should have given
No,
him at least
absolutely.
one more season and see what they could have done with these star-studded players that they got. And I think it's a mistake that they traded him, and I think that the Steelers now are going to benefit very highly because, like Colin, you said, Justin Fields is going to be behind Russell Wilson, learning from him. Even though Justin Fields, they said he's going to be starting, right? But again, you have a quarterback who's had his experience in the Super Bowls, and he's been one of the best, and arguably he's a Hall of Famer. And you're learning from him. I think that's a good move by the Steelers.
mhm. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, now I want to talk about the Dolphins because we talk about the Dolphins a lot. Primarily, we're all Miami Dolphins fans, and I know our viewers like to hear about what we think about the Dolphins, right? So I'm gonna pull up uh some of the moves that the Dolphins made this offseason, and Obviously, they lost a lot of players, lost a lot of key players, but um, give me a second here. I want to see what you guys think about what the Dolphins did this offseason. So, first off, let's talk about the departures, right?
Yeah,
So,
big departure was Christian Wilkins.
yeah, that was the big one. I mean, he was
Yeah,
ranked the number 2 free agent this offseason,
yeah,
signed pretty quickly. Uh, okay, sorry, this is taking a
That was
very
our
long time
biggest
to load.
blow, I believe.
Yeah, I think so
yeah.
too.
It's
I agree.
it's also the loss of Van Ginkel is also gonna be pretty big in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so as well.
I think so.
So here we go on this. So these are the players that were free agents. Now some of them re-signed, like Braxton Berrios, as you can see here. Um, but the ones with the teams obviously next to them, that's the team that they moved to. So we can start off with Christian Wilkins, going to the Raiders on I believe $100-something million deal. He got a ton of money, which
Yeah,
we were not going to
he
pay.
got a ton of money, which the Dolphins weren't going to pay him
Yeah,
because we have our eyes set on the bigger things in the season right now, which is getting a Super Bowl. And clearly, if we waste all of our cap space uh, on Christian Wilkins, I mean, you can't do anything else. You don't have a defense anymore. It's over. We're not going to pay this guy money, and of course, he's instead of sticking with the team that has a chance of winning the Super Bowl, he goes to a team that gives him more money, which I understand, but you know,
yeah,
I don't think it's a
yeah.
good move by him.
So that was a big loss, though. Another big loss was the heart and soul of our defense. I think he was our longest tenured player, in Jerome Baker. He signed with the Seahawks last week.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, he was with us for a long time. It's kind of sad to see him go, but I think I'm not like honestly. Look, we lost a lot of players. You can see here, we lost Van Ginkel to the Vikings.
Yeah,
We lost Raekwon Davis to the Colts. Deshaun Elliott to the Steelers. Brandon Jones. All these players, right? But Christian Wilkins is the big one. After that, yeah, it sucks, but nothing crazy. Nothing ridiculous. We definitely have to
yeah,
fill these holes, but I don't know, Oscar. What do you think about this?
Um, I think that I mean when you look at our signings right now, all we're seeing is our losses. When you look at our signings, we've made only defensive signings, and I think we've kind of made up for the the holes that we create, especially Jerome Baker. I think we got a good replacement for him in the linebacker that we got back from the Seahawks. Was it a trade or a signing? I'm not sure. Uh,
it was a signing.
yeah, it's just ironic that Baker went to the Seahawks and then we signed their linebacker. But I think we've done a good job. We've also restructured a lot of contracts. Jalen Ramsey,
He seems to be having some technical
we've
difficulties here.
Yeah,
restructured.
I'm sorry. What did you guys say?
Uh, I believe there's one other
Were you
one we
talking about me or Oscar?
restructured
I'm very
as
confused right
well.
now.
Oscar's having some technical
Okay, yeah,
difficulties.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oscar, can you hear us?
we restructured. Yeah. Had a bit
Okay,
of technical difficulty there. Sorry,
very
guys.
good.
So we restructured quite a few contracts, cleared up some cap space, hopefully to make a big signing. Um, but I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, so I think I mean, we didn't really have a big, wow, this is a huge signing, but we had a lot
No,
of
no,
really
no.
solid ones
We've
to fill
had,
some holes.
yeah, key acquisitions, no big names yet, but
Yeah. So I think we can start with well, the first thing we did was we signed Jonnu Smith. So I think that's actually a pretty good
I think
addition. We didn't have a
that's
lot.
a
We
great
didn't.
signing.
Yeah, it gives Tua another target. We didn't have a lot of productivity from
Yeah.
our receivers
He
besides obviously Tyreek and Waddle. And I'm pretty sure our third leading receiver was our tight end, Durham Smythe. He only had 300 plus yards. So Jonnu
mm,
Smith is definitely going to add another level to this offense. And
and
who knows? OBJ's visiting with us, so you never know what might happen on the offensive side of the ball.
and
yeah.
Smythe he wasn't really the blocking tight end. We always sent him out to run routes. Jonnu Smith, he's a two-way tight end. He's really good at blocking, and he's proven that with the teams that he's been with before. And he's a solid receiver. He can get you 600, 700 yards in a season, and he'll block pretty well too. So, uh, I think this is a really good move by us. I think we've been needing a tight end, and I think if we
Yeah,
had one last year, our season may have gone differently, possibly. But again, what can you do?
yep. We'll see. And then on defense, like Oscar was mentioning, we made a lot of key additions. So I'll start with Shaq Barrett. He was the first one. 1 year
Yeah,
contract up to 9 million. He's kind of our replacement right now for Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb. They're coming off their injuries. They're not going to be able to play right
yeah,
away. He's an edge rusher. Slowed down a little bit in the last couple of years, but still really, really solid for the Buccaneers. And then we got two more in the secondary. So I'll start with Jordan Poyer, like I mentioned him before, from the Bills to the Dolphins. I really like this. He's really he's like that like team strong, culture builder right there. And
yeah.
he's getting older, but I really, really like him. Also, we took him from the Bills, so it makes it better for us.
You know,
Makes it a
he,
lot
he's
more
he's a good
sweeter.
replacement for Brandon Jones. He's been doing all right, but of course,
Hmm.
Jordan Poyer has done, I think, in my opinion, a little better than Brandon Jones. Um,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
he does bring that environment to the locker room. He brings that
And that
energy and he
grit.
feels the team.
Yeah,
And of
for
course,
sure.
losing Wilkins, who used to do that, but bringing in Jordan Poyer, who can still do that. It's not like you're losing any atmosphere in your locker room, and keeps the team motivated, which I think is a great
Yep.
thing.
And then the one that I'm actually the most excited for is Kendall Fuller. He's our Xavier Howard replacement. So, I mean, Xavier Howard, sad to see him go. He was with the team for a really long time, and he was
Yeah,
really good for stretches. But he started slowing down the last couple years. I think Kendall Fuller is a perfect replacement for him. He's not as big of a name as Xavier Howard, but he's still really, really good. Super Bowl champion with the Chiefs, was with the Washington teams before that, two stints there. I think he's really good. 2 years for 16.5 million is pretty solid, I think. And
yeah.
I'm really excited to see
Yeah.
what he can do for us.
And it's people are also not realizing the fact that we still have Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey's he's a great, I mean, a great cornerback, and he's still
Yeah.
there. It's not like we lost him too. So, you
Many,
know,
many consider it to be the best in the NFL. Period.
oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Like, I
And
mean,
and and
yeah,
hopefully we'll be able to have him this year for the entire year. We only had him for I don't know, maybe
half a
seven
season.
yeah.
games.
Yeah.
We
So
had
yeah.
him for about, I think it was 8 weeks, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, overall, I think the Dolphins did an okay job for everything that they lost. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys have anything to add, other free agent moves that you want to talk about.
You know, there is one that I'd like to mention is
Hmm.
Kirk Cousins going to the Falcons.
Okay, yeah, that's a big
Definitely
one.
definitely an interesting move by the Falcons because everyone saw them as the front runners for Justin Fields if they were going to trade or sign a quarterback. And clearly, they've gone a different route. They went with a older, more experienced guy rather than a younger guy on the team who
For
will,
4 years and that amount of money, I don't know. I think
you
that
see,
was too much of a
that's
gamble.
that's when we get to the questionable part. He's gonna be coming off an Achilles injury,
And
and
he was already injury prone before. Like
yeah.
he's always had bruised ribs during the regular season.
Well, I mean, if
Always had some sort of body aches throughout the regular season. I mean, on a on his own account. Like he said this multiple times throughout his playing career that the regular season is very hard on him. And I mean, if you're trying to restructure a team for a playoff push, you signed him for 4 years for that amount of money. I mean, I just don't know what they're thinking up there in Atlanta.
I'm not sure either, and I don't think they know what they're doing ever since they lost that Super Bowl against the Patriots in 2016. I mean, you know, it's been 8 years of just what is going on with this team.
The whole organization needs a cleansing.
Yeah, I mean,
They had some good ups when they had Calvin Ridley as their wide receiver before, his whole dramatic incident happened. But I mean, besides that, like who do they have? They have really good players that they don't utilize. You need to fix this team where every single player is being utilized. Bijan Robinson isn't being utilized how he should be. And then who's their tight end? I already forgot his name.
Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, Kyle Pitts. That guy was
He's the
the
most underutilized tight end in the
eighth
whole league.
eighth
He
pick
had
in the draft,
s-
right? When he was drafted, the
such a
eighth pick.
huge. No, he's very talented. Every time he got the ball this season, he created plays for them, but he barely got the ball. He was barely fed.
So,
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing with Kirk Cousins. He likes to throw to his tight ends. We know that when we had T.J. Hawkinson and all these different things. Um, it's exciting, but I think they paid him too much money, and I'm scared for his longevity with the team.
Yeah, I think
Agreed.
yeah, it is a lot of money, obviously, especially with 100 million is guaranteed already. But I don't hate it as much as you guys. I think he's still very good. He's a top 10, 12 quarterback in the league. I think
I
he's
agree.
very solid. The Falcons have a ton of weapons that no one talked about because Arthur Smith just preferred to have Jonnu Smith play instead of everyone else. Jonnu
Yeah,
Smith's not there anymore. More importantly, Arthur Smith is not there anymore. I'm pretty sure
thank
Raheem
goodness.
Morris is now the head coach. So think about this. You have Kyle Pitts, what, eighth overall, you said,
Hmm.
has a lot of potential. You have Bijan Robinson, best running back in last year's draft class. You saw some flashes from last year. You have
Absolutely insane.
Drake London, another really young, solid receiver.
And
And
who's
then,
very underrated in my opinion.
yeah, and then you add, I mean, nothing crazy, but you add Darnell Mooney in free agency this year. They have a really solid skill position group.
Dude,
And then you
the,
add in a competent quarterback. You can't sit here and tell me Kirk Cousins is close to Desmond Ritter. Like, come on. Kirk Cousins
no,
is
oh, not at all.
echelons above him.
Not at all.
So,
But it's a big gamble is what they took. The Falcons took a really big gamble on this
yes, but
on an
no
injury
matter,
prone player. But if it pays off, they're a playoff team. I'd
I
say
think
that
I
they'll.
I think no matter what happens though, he's still better than Desmond Ritter. Like he's
Oh yeah,
ridiculous. He's way better than Desmond Ritter. I think the Falcons are gonna have a huge upgrade, and I think they're gonna do well. Now, on a get up, they were talking about how the Falcons are Super Bowl contenders. And I looked at my TV screen and started dying of laughter because that is a ridiculous take. I'm
I
sorry.
agree. I agree with that.
They need anything for
So,
clicks nowadays, man.
yeah,
Look,
I don't know what they're
the
talking about, but
the Falcons built they have a good team now, right? We want to see them perform. But also you can't forget the fact that other teams in their division have also done some big signings. Like Baker Mayfield re-signing with the Bucks after an absolutely historical season, coming off of what people said that he's a bust. It's over. He should retire. He's going to be a backup quarterback. Leads them to the second round of the playoffs. I mean,
I mean, he was my comeback player of the year.
yeah, this is, you know, this division is going to be a solid division. And, the Saints are making some decent signings as well. They signed Chase Young. And, you know, I mean, I'm not
Yeah,
sure what else
which
to
I
say.
was
There's a
shocked
lot of
about
competitive
because
signings.
he was on a great roster in San Francisco. I imagine that something didn't work out financially for them. Otherwise, I mean, I don't know why you would leave that team.
yeah, he has a neck injury, so teams are scared to sign him. So he's
Yeah.
gonna miss part of the season as well
Well,
anyway.
they said he's going to have surgery and it's 3 to 4
Yeah,
month uh, recovery.
yeah, yeah. So, hey man, I like the Kirk Cousins signing. I think it was pretty solid by the Falcons. I think they're gonna be an improved team this year, especially if their head coach can put them in
I feel like they should have signed him
good
to a 1 year
situations.
deal. I'm not saying they shouldn't have signed him, but sign him to a 1 year deal. Give him, I don't know, give him 20 mil, 25, 30, 35 mil. No more than 40, right? But I don't think they should have signed him for
I
four
think
years.
I think the issue with the 1 year deal is that it comes off from the team to the player that they don't have faith in him. And I feel like the reason they signed him for such a long time is
Guess
because
what,
they
buddy? It's a
have faith in him.
business. Clearly, they have faith in him. Otherwise, they wouldn't have want to sign him. Like, if I was like, in that position, arguing with Kirk Cousins' agent, I'd be like, you know what? Yes, we have faith in your client. Um, Clearly, we want to sign him, but we also, this is a business. We want to cover our own backs. Worst comes to worst, or your client has an injury, or he's just not at the level that we expect him to be at. 1 year deal. You get your money. We're happy if you produce or you don't produce, and we can move on.
Mhm.
It makes sense. But again, I mean, a lot of emotional states coming into some of these players. But
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's tough. It's tough to
definitely
see.
one of the this season, definitely one of the more active free agency. And
We've
heading
ever
into the
seen, yeah.
draft, there's so many uncertainties of so many teams that haven't really made moves at all. So this is gonna be I think it's gonna be an off season for the ages, and I'm very, very excited to see what happens.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
me too.
All right, Mark.
All right.
All right, well, thank you guys for tuning in to this episode here. We appreciate you guys your patience and our little break that we took. Taking off time from school, but we're back now, and we'll get you guys some more episodes every week. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. Goodbye.
Yep. See ya.
Bye, guys.